Welcome to Advanced Financial Management AFM classes from Global Phoenix. My name is Manikanta. I'm the founder and faculty of Global Phoenix. I'm a certified management accountant US, a holder of diploma in IFRS, a postgraduate with master in commerce as well as masters in business administration. Right? And in the first video, what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about what exactly is advanced financial management paper all about. What are the core contents of the syllabus? How does your examination look like? What is the examination pattern and all other various aspects regarding your AFM examination. In the second video, we are going to discuss about the index of the subject, like how our chapters are going to be sequenced, what will be the lectures, how many number of chapters are there, everything we'll see in the second video. And after that, we'll start with our regular classes. Right, guys? So first of all, you can see on your screen here on the right side top that examination structure. So how does AFM exam look like? The examination is broadly classified into two sections, my dear friends. Section A and Section B. So Section A consists of only one question which has 50 marks. The answer will be given 46 marks and 4 marks will be given for professional presentation. Now sir, if AFM is your first strategic paper, you might not be aware of this professional marks. So at strategic professional level, there are 4 marks which are awarded to the students for professional presentation, for neat, clean, structured presentation of the answer, for using the technical jargon, the technical terminologies, for quoting the right standards. If I'm talking about AAA or if I'm talking about SBR, where you have to quote the standard numbers. For AFM, it is all about how well did you structure your answer, how well did you present your answer. Okay, so for that you will be given 4 professional presentation marks. So section A consists of one question which is a mix of theory as well as numerical. It's not completely numerical, it's not completely theory, it will be a mix of theory and numerical. For example, just as an example, it's not a real life question, I'm just giving you as an example. So if they ask you to calculate NPV of a project and evaluate whether to accept the project or to reject a project, usually such kind of questions don't come for 50 marks. I'm just giving you as an example. So that will be for 25 or 30 or 35 marks. Then what they'll do is the evaluation, the calculation of NPV and acceptance or rejection of the project will be for the numerical part of the answer. Then there will be a separate question, separate part of the question, subsection of the question, which requires you to evaluate NPV as a project appraisal technique or as an investment appraisal technique. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of using net present value technique? So the first question, 50 mark question, will be a mix of theoretical question as well as numerical question. It will be for 46 marks plus 4 marks of professional presentation. Then comes your section B, second section of your examination, where you will have 2 questions of 25 marks each. 2 into 25, 50 marks. So 50 in first section, 50 in second section. You'll have total 100 marks and you need to score at least 50 to qualify this particular paper. Right, guys? So that is the introduction to your examination. As you can see on your screen, you have section A, which will be a single 50 mark case study. A single 50 marks case study will be there, which includes 4 professional marks as well. Okay, you need to produce a document, a report, a brief paper or a discussion paper on various given scenario. We'll discuss more of this as we start our regular lectures, right, guys? And then these are all related aspects. We'll discuss more about that. And section B, 2 questions, 2 compulsory questions of 25 marks each. Now sir, before I discuss more about the paper and before we start into the syllabus discussion, I would like to put one point very clear, my dear friends. The point is that in AFM paper, the student's perspective, the student's thought process should be as if you are a senior financial advisor. Senior financial advisor. Sir, what does that mean? You have to be in a position in an organization where You will tell the management, okay, invest in this particular project, don't invest in this project, this is the risk that is there in this particular transaction, this is what you should do to avoid or to mitigate that particular risk. For example, you have a contract upcoming in the future, you are worried that the prices of the raw material will increase. So what you are doing, you are entering into a forward agreement with your supplier for delivery of raw material. So this forward is a hedging strategy. Students who have already done financial management from me should be very clear with how forwards work, how futures work, how options work, because we discussed in depth about these derivative instruments. But I have already shown you guys our regular trading sessions, how derivatives function, how the option prices fluctuate in a day chart. I have shown you the graphs, I have shown you everything in our F9 classes. Students who did not take F9 from me, don't worry, I will make sure that you guys are also equipped with all the knowledge that is required for your AFM exam. Again, in AFM also, I'll make sure that I show you all those strategies, I'll show you all those trading techniques with real life practical examples by using my trading account, my personal trading account I'll show you all the movements of stocks, movement of options and all that stuff. Don't worry, I'll give you hands-on practical experience. Right guys? Chalo. And next comes the questioning, the syllabus structure. ACCA, I'm not talking about Kaplan, I'm not talking about BPP, I'm talking about ACCA structures your financial management, advanced financial management into 5 sections, 5 readable sections. What are those, sir? As you can see on the right side of your screen here. So the first one is section A, B, C, D and E. Let's see section A. So section A, explain and evaluate the roles and responsibilities of the senior financial executive. As I have told you, you will be put in the position of a senior financial advisor. Sir, you said advisor, it is there, look properly. Okay, you have to be in the role, you have to be in the position of a senior financial advisor. Sir, what is the roles of senior financial advisor, sir? You can see here, you need to discuss and evaluate about the conflicts of the stakeholders. We covered this in F7, we covered this in, F5, F9, performance management, financial management, audit and assurance. In various papers, we cover about the conflict of stakeholders. Shareholders want more profit, employees want more salaries, government want more taxes, customer wants better quality products at a cheaper price. So everybody have a different set of expectations and requirements from the organization. So there is a conflict of interest. How to resolve this conflict of interest? Students who have taken APM classes, Advanced Performance Management, there we discuss Mendelow's matrix to use the 4 quadrants: high power, low interest, high power, high interest, low power, high interest. So we use this 4 quadrant Mendelow's matrix to evaluate the stakeholders position and a strategy that is required. Not required in AFM, don't worry, I'm just giving you a an analysis, okay, a linkage between various subjects of ACCA. And also recognize the role of international financial institutions. Okay, we call them as IFIs, international financial institutions. So what kind of role do they play? All that stuff we'll discuss in detail. Okay, see, we have 2 types of investors. Okay, I'm not talking about regular investors, I'm talking about the institutional investors who invest in large money, like mutual funds, pension funds, etc. These are insurance companies. These are large institutions which purchase in bulk quantities of stocks. So we have FIIs and we have DIIs. FIIs stands for foreign institutional investors and DIIs stand for domestic institutional investors. Okay, we'll discuss more about that in the lectures. Then comes evaluate potential investment decisions. Okay, basically investment decision appraisal, investment appraisal techniques, NPV, IRR, discounted payback, all that stuff. Assessing their financial and strategic consequences. See, this is the key point that you need to understand, ma. You should not just evaluate the financial consequence, like if we take this project, we get 100,000 profit, we get 2 million profit, we get 5 million free cash flows. Okay, that is accepted. But you also need to look into the strategic consequences. Like if I take this project, will it create synergy for the rest of my operations? Will it match with my business mission, with my vision, with my objective of the organization? Or is it an independent one-off contract? Again, if I take up this project, there might be cost savings, but environmental factors will be there. Or else I can say that instead of putting my efforts, the time and resources, it is better to outsource, even though it is a little bit costly. So you should not just look into the financial part, you should also look into the strategic part of that. Okay, both domestically and internationally again. And next one is, this is very important, acquisitions and mergers. Okay, so here we will discuss about various types of acquisitions and mergers related strategies. Please make sure that I will refer Suits, the TV show Suits. Okay, it's available on Amazon Prime, it's available on Netflix. So Suits is a TV show which is all about lawyers in New York. I'm not worried about that. In the Suits, there are certain scenes, or there are certain episodes where we will use AFM techniques. Okay, so maybe I can say golden parachute is covered in one episode in Suits, and then there is the crown jewel which is covered in another episode. So various strategies which we use in AFM are used in Suits TV show. Usually TV shows are interesting, right? So you guys can have fun while learning. Okay, so we'll see more about that. Then evaluate and advise on the alternative corporate reorganization strategies. We call it as internal reconstruction. So within an organization, when things don't go right, so we make certain changes to our organization, we make certain changes to our product, make certain changes to our structures from divisional to functional or whatever it is. So we make internal changes. Those are covered under reorganization strategies. And the last one is alternative advanced treasury and risk management techniques. So here we'll cover about what are the roles and responsibilities of treasury, as well as we are going to discuss about risk management. Here we cover both interest risk and forex risk. Okay, so what is interest risk, what is forex risk is already covered in FM, but again I will cover in depth from the scratch, because I know some students have not taken F9 classes from me and directly joined for AFM, and unfortunately there are some students whose basics are not strong, who doesn't have conceptual clarity, but with their hard works and with their efforts, they did the practice kits, they did the exam kit, they solved past papers, they read examiners review documents, and they cleared the F9 exam, but their fundamental concepts are not strong enough. So don't worry, you guys, we'll cover everything from scratch and we'll make sure that you guys are very good with financial management, right guys? And then comes as I have just discussed, what are covered in each of these 5 sections, section A, B, C, D, E, what are the in-depth coverages. And for your reference purpose, I have also put in the respective chapter in which that particular topic is covered in our lectures. So for example, if I'm talking about option pricing theory in investment decisions, okay, again I'll tell you guys, option pricing is also used in stock markets. What is option pricing, sir? We'll talk about that in a moment, don't worry. I mean in the lecture, not in a moment. So option pricing theory is covered in chapter number 4 of our lectures. Okay, it is covered in section B as per ACCA syllabus, covered in chapter number 4 of our lectures. Now, how many chapters are there, sir? There are total 16 chapters in our lectures, right? And next important thing is, I have highlighted 2 sections, section B and section E. Sir, why did you highlight these 2 sections separately? The purpose is that majority of the time these sections are tested in AFM. I can say around 75 to 80% of the time, at least one or more than one questions come from section B and section E of your syllabus areas. Sir, other sections are not important? No. These are more important. Okay, so make sure that you cover these 2 parts in your revisions first before starting with the rest of the chapters, rest of the sections, right? And for your sake, for your reference purpose, I have put in the syllabus PDF file link as well. I guess this is not the correct link. Okay, no worries. So I'll copy this and paste the actual link. You can download this as well. Okay, guys. So I hope you got the complete picture about what is AFM paper and what is the exam structure, how to prepare, how to present, what are the syllabus contents, everything. I hope you guys got the picture here. So with that, I'll wind up this part 1, lecture 1 of our videos. In the next lecture, we'll discuss about the index and each chapter summary, a basic overview about each chapter. Right, guys? So keep smiling. Take care. Bye-bye.